Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the Bain family murders from New Zealand, which occurred on the 20th of June of 1994. The evening before, all of the family members had gathered at their home in Dunedin. I'm hoping now I'm pronouncing that correctly. Because there was a family meeting. Next morning, around 7:09, David, the eldest son, called the emergency number 111 because he had come home to find his family deceased. And on the phone he said, "They're all dead, they're all dead." He also found a message on the computer that simply read, "Sorry, you are the only one who deserved to stay." Now, I think New Zealand has two camps of people. One camp believes that David is actually the one to blame, and the other thinks that the father, Robin, was the one to blame. There's definitely something to be said for either side. People who think that the father did it will point towards the fact that Robin had been basically consigned to live in a camper because there was an estrangement in the marriage between him and his wife Margaret. Margaret had some type of spiritual awakening. I'm not really sure how to describe that, but after a certain time of having been delving into New Age spirituality, she started to believe that everything that Robin touched or did had something to do with the devil, and so she didn't want him around anymore. That went on for quite some time. I believe that their marriage was under quite a lot of strain. Also, the family members themselves had some issues here and there. I believe only Stephen, the youngest, did not have any clear issues as far as anybody could tell. He was just a happy kid. I think he was still in high school at that time. Daughter Lynette, however, had a fairly difficult life as well. She left quite early on and got stuck in prostitution and other things like it, and was about to tell a whole bunch of stories about her father, who she claimed had abused her for some time, and so perhaps the motive may have been for Robin to want to keep that within doors. Either way, it's undecided because I believe that the conviction of David has been overturned after many years. And so we're going to use the tarot to see if we can find anything out about this case. The tarot is not very good with yes and no answers, but we can at least see what type of information we can get from it. We're starting off with the Deviant Moon Tarot, which is already on the table, which is this one. And for any further questions, we're moving on to the Crow Tarot, which is this one, which I always find is good for carrying messages from those who have passed. So, as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the cards. As soon as we have a whole bunch on the table, we'll stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We're starting off with the Sun in reverse. We have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Fool. All right, I'm going to grab these three. Now, the Sun in reverse I always see as joy leaving the situation, the person, the house, whatever it is that they may have previously experienced joy at. We also see a walking away energy with this Eight of Cups over there. Very clearly somebody turning their back on something, followed by the Fool, which is just letting the universe guide you wherever. And this seems like at least somebody did not want to deal with things anymore and just wanted to be free and do whatever it is that came to mind. Perhaps just be free from everything, cut ties and leave. So that's one of the people there, at least, having these. It could be anybody there. We haven't exactly looked at that yet. We'll probably get some clues about who that might be, but somebody at the very least was feeling like everything that they thought had brought light into their life was leaving or had already left, and in any case they were definitely leaving emotionally and trying to break away from things. So that's interesting already. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, Judgment in reverse, and the Seven of Swords, followed by the Ace of Cups. But first I'm going to grab these 2. We'll do the other 2 on the end. So somebody felt like leaving. We have here the Queen of Pentacles and Judgment in reverse. Queen of Pentacles is somebody who tries to keep things running. It's somebody who is fairly caring. It doesn't have to be a female, could also be a male. Somebody has that caring energy about them that wants to just, I guess, put food on the table and stuff like that. So in this sense, I think in that household it could be Robin, because he was, I think, the main breadwinner. At least I don't recall if Margaret had a job. In any case, I think that's him being pointed at, and Judgment in reverse is somebody either feeling very put down upon or being judged too harshly, etc., which, considering the circumstances, is not entirely strange. We have the 7 of Swords. Correction, we have the 5 of Swords, not the 7 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. All right, let's grab these 2. Right, so the 5 of Swords is having words with somebody, and as you can see, this person is sticking their tongue out at what looks like a stronghold behind them, where they've put the white flag out, meaning they surrendered. I think this is definitely a verbal jousting. They have argued with somebody, and I think they won the argument. But then at the end of that, we see the Ace of Cups. So this could very well be with this whole lineup as well. So somebody who is tired of things, wants to get away, and has also decided that they feel like they're the ones who are always putting stuff on the table for everybody, and they feel like they are done by, and that leads to a verbal disagreement. But we see the Ace of Cups on the end, like, okay, we've heard this now, we've seen this now, now let's try to patch things up, like that type of thing. So this looks like perhaps this is something that happened during the family meeting, when they had like a pretty strong discussion about what was going on and how everybody felt about things, and then it ended with them pretending, or at least to want to make things better among everybody. I'm drawn to look at the moon that is blowing some type of light into the cup right there, and the moon, as we know, the card itself is always about secrets, so maybe this is reaching out to somebody with an agenda in mind that is hidden. So, but at the very least, at the end of the first row, we're looking at maybe making some type of amends with people, trying to fix things. Then on the second row, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, which is new beginnings that are either not coming to fruition or just bad intentions all around. We see the 8 of Swords, which is also in reverse. 8 of Swords normally being a card where you're stuck in some type of mindset. And we have the 6 of Wands, which is a victor, or somebody who is well regarded. So somebody who is well regarded either is stuck in some type of mind trap, which is an old one, and they cannot let go of it, and I don't think they want to, because this Ace of Pentacles over here, Ace of Pentacles is normally like a new beginning, new ideas, new ways to perhaps spend your resources, new ways to get resources, stuff like that. So perhaps this would be the ideas, the practical application of the Ace of Cups. There's something that was suggested, like, why don't we try this, why don't we try that? And either they didn't want to try that, or they purposely tried to undermine it, because they're stuck in a mindset. And it has a lot to do with the way that they are treated, which is, generally speaking, being hailed as a hero, or at least somebody who is high in people's regards, because the 6 of Wands is somebody who is victorious and usually cheered on by other people. As you can see there at the bottom, the other people are cheering them on, and they seem to be, like a carriage type cocoon. Nobody can hurt them, and they are at the top of their game. We see the 4 of Cups over here, which is normally not wanting to make choices, even if there are choices available. We have the 9 of Swords, which is anxiety over here, and the Moon is in reverse, followed by the Emperor. All right, let's grab these 2, because otherwise we have just 1 card left on the end. So this person over here on the 4 of Cups does not appear to want to make any choices other than what they feel like they need to do, or what they want to do. It does cause them some anxiety. And they may have had some mental anguish there. You can look at the person, like, normally anxiety is just worrying about things, but you can see that this person has almost a little demon or something sitting on their shoulder that appears to be biting them, or trying to whisper something in their ear. And if you look at the eye of the person in the bed and the way that they're chewing on their hand, they're definitely not in a good mindset. So this is almost like, I have no choice because this is just what I need to do type of energy. Then we see the Moon in reverse, which is normally a revealing of secrets type of card, followed by the Emperor, which is normally somebody who is somebody who reigns over a certain group of people. Could be the father in house, could be law enforcement, could be anybody in that category, caretakers and stuff like that. So the Emperor would be pointing towards Robin, but I'm not sure if this entire second row is Robin. It could just be that the moon is showing that there are secrets being hidden from the Emperor. The Emperor's not quite aware of what is being done. Because if you look at this row over here, I don't think that Robin could be described as a person in the household that was lauded by the other people in the household, because I'm pretty sure that Margaret had quite a lot of influence on the household as a whole, and that's how he ended up living in the camper van. So I don't think that he, or the camper, I don't know if it was a van, I don't think that he is the one in this section, but I do feel like he's being called on the end here with the moon in reverse. So there's stuff being done perhaps behind his back in this case. So let's see what else we can find. So this looks almost like it's leading up to the event of the 20th of June. Let's see if we can find out anything from the 20th, what we can see about that. Oh, judgment at the very least. We have 4 cards, there's 2 over here. So we see judgment over here, and that is perhaps somebody feeling like it is time for justice, to perhaps judge themselves, judge other people. So whatever the person was thinking during the event on the 20th, they probably felt in the right, that they were actually doing the right thing. We have the 5 of Pentacles, which is normally like a bankruptcy thing, or at least losing some type of resources. And perhaps in this case, it almost felt like an attempt to not lose resources and come out on top on the end, at the end of this. What do we have here? We have the 3 of Cups. Okay, and we have the 8 of Cups again. So no walking away this time, because the Cups is reversed, and the one before was actually upright, which meant they were trying to leave. But in this case, there is no leaving possible. There is total commitment here. We have the 3 of Cups, which is normally like a party, a harmonious thing, working together. So perhaps whoever perpetrated this felt like they were perhaps in cahoots with somebody else, or that somebody else was telling them to do these things, or at the very least had helped plan things, was on board with it, which is of course strange to say, because only one person ended up surviving, and it wasn't whoever was at the house. So maybe they just felt emboldened by somebody else's support, even though this person may not have necessarily agreed with the actions that were being taken, but there was no walking away in any case. What else can we see about this? So we have somebody who feels like they're being backed by somebody else, or at least is trying to have a harmonious get together, but we're also not walking away while judgment is being carried out. We have got one over here. This is the Page of Pentacles. All right, so Page of Pentacles, somebody who is rash with spending their resources and stuff like that, may point towards rash actions. Perhaps ideas about future finances that they didn't quite think through. It could be somebody planning things for the future and perhaps not foreseeing everything that may go wrong, and also with the actions that they carried out, perhaps not thinking things through well enough to the point that maybe they dropped the ball here and there. So whatever it is that they were planning on saving, or perhaps planning on doing next, like a future plan, wasn't as well thought out as they perhaps thought it was. This might be somebody planning the event, and perhaps things did not go quite as they expected. King of Cups is here. King of Cups is somebody who is very much in tune with their emotions. Could point towards whoever was doing this, perhaps having second thoughts, or maybe feeling every loss as they went through the house to carry out their deed. There is a puddle at the bottom though there next to the cup itself, so perhaps some of the emotions spill over, as that might be what it's pointing at. Once again, we have the moon in the background. There's a lot of movement here, so I think whoever perpetrated this was not left cold by this. They were definitely highly emotional. Oops, there we go. Queen of Pentacles is here as well. So this is the same Queen of Pentacles that we saw over here somewhere. Here. There she is. She's back. So I think this person definitely either woke up or was aware of things. It could be that perhaps Margaret knew something like this would happen, had expected it perhaps. In any case, she's making an appearance here, and this may point towards an attempt at dissuading whoever perpetrated this crime from actually carrying it out. Perhaps a last-ditch attempt at trying to convince them that perhaps that Ace of Cups suggestion will be carried out after all, as long as they just drop the gun, so to speak, and we can work this out and find a solution. Nothing's happened yet. That type of energy might be coming from the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is often very practical, so maybe they offer some practical suggestions that they hoped would change things. Page of Swords. That is somebody with hasty words, and I think this might be the follow-up to what I was just saying. Like, making quick promises, trying to come up with all sorts of ideas that could help dissuade them from carrying out their plan. And often they will say things rashly, and I do believe I see... It almost looks like thunderbolts coming from the clouds. I'm not entirely sure. There's some yellow stuff there in the background. Don't know if you guys can see that, but it kind of suggests to me that some of those words did not pan out, may have fallen on deaf ears, may have actually triggered the other person to get even madder or more upset. So perhaps not all of the words landed as they should have. And then we have the Knight of Wands, which is somebody taking rash actions, and everything has been shifted. Hang on. You're on the side, but leaning slightly up. So I think this knight is actually upright, and everything is a mess. There we go. So Knight of Wands is here. Also we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. So even though they tried to convince them not to do this thing, the Knight of Wands, the energy that they were in at that time, ignored all of that and just went ahead and did its thing. You can see the sun in the background, which is definitely the fiery aspect of the Knight of Wands, the Wands energy in general. And it is a complete loss of harmony, as you can see with the Ten of Cups there in reverse. So whatever harmony there could have been, then whatever this may have pointed towards was now out the window, because the plan was put into action. Now so far this points towards just about anybody. Maybe you can get a few cards that may lead us to either Robin or David. There's one. This is the Five of Swords in reverse again. Okay, so the Five of Swords in reverse is actually not an argument. Maybe somebody who's trying to stop arguments from happening. Maybe somebody who wanted to create peace. Or they could have had internal arguments for a long time. Next card is on the floor. Four of Pentacles in reverse. This is somebody who has incareful spending habits, who may not have been the best at balancing finances, may have had some trouble with resources as well, may have been quite wasteful. So this could be somebody who has a lot of internal struggle going on. Maybe somebody who has a lot of thoughts that tend to be reoccurring and perhaps also not positive, and somebody who is not good with finances, or at least running the household, so to speak. Then we have the King of Wands in reverse. So either there's somebody who is likely to take rash actions, or they are somebody who is very actionable normally, but in the wrong sense, like somebody who would not necessarily choose other people over themselves or their own needs. So somebody who might be fairly quick to act and maybe slightly selfish, or can burn other people with their actions. So we're not looking at somebody who's even-tempered, I don't think. Let's see if we can get a few more cards. So I have space for like 2 over there. Oop. This one fell off. And more wanted energy. This is the Eight of Wands. Now, the Eight of Wands is also a communication card. So this could be somebody who communicated. It could be somebody who is quick to act, like I said with the King of Wands already. We're seeing a lot of rash actions and rash decisions here. Perhaps also rash words. So this is not a reasonable person that we're looking at. Final card, perhaps? Final card is the World in reverse. So the World in reverse I often see as hiding from the world or hiding things from the world, being a little secretive perhaps, trying to maybe appear differently than you really are. Could also mean that they have a lack of closure or they are not likely to finish what they start. So we have somebody who's fairly indecisive, maybe a little secretive, not great with responsibility and finances, and perhaps slightly tormented mentally. Now the only thing here that doesn't say Robin is the finances thing, and I think also the King of Wands, because from what I could tell, since Robin was the one who was actually bringing the money into the house, I don't feel that he was bad with finances. And I think he was also not one to quickly lose temper, but I don't know too much about him to say that for sure. Anybody from New Zealand will have to figure that out. I'm pretty sure he would know more about the case than I do. So perhaps you can more clearly tell who this is, but I think this is pointing towards David, but I'm not really sure because I believe he was just cleared a few years ago, so that would leave us with no perpetrator, which is also not possible. In any case, this is what I'm seeing for the Bain family murders. Hope you found that interesting at least. Hope to see you in another video. If you have a case that you'd like me to review, which is a public case, make sure to put that in the Google form, to which I have a link in the description. And I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.